Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 2 of season 33. We're bringing you Feint versus Aura Electro. I'm here with Wiethoofd on production and Surny as my co-caster. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. Had a great day. A lot of sleep. Not all of it at night, but that's what naps are for. Who needs sleep anyway? It's overrated.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sleep in the morning. So, week 2 is an interesting one, Surny, because we've got theoretically one of the top teams of ETF2L.
At least at the moment.
And one of the middle of Premiership, sort of in the contention for playoff spot in 4th place, but they have lost some points in the first week against Goon Squad, our Premiership qualifiers, which most people probably were not expecting. And also, Feint have not got their full roster today, unfortunately. Pappy and Lucas are out of the server, so to accommodate for that, they have shifted Gink onto Demo Man, and they've brought in some subs in Chris and Corback on Pocket and Roma, respectively. So it'll be interesting to see whether this team can handle it. I'm sure they will be fine, as they're
just as good players, in my opinion. yeah,
exactly. Although the one thing that might take a hit for them is Pappy as their main caller.
That is true.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can get through without his guidance. We're in an interesting position, as we said. Aura Electro, one of these teams that should be battling it out for this last playoff spot with Top 5 Rocket and Warren Sons, they've actually lost to the bottom Prem team of Goon Squad. But recently, I know scrims aren't everything, but this team has been beating 7 in scrims recently on both of the week 2 maps. And if you're beating 7, obviously the best team in Europe, at least for now, you must be doing something right, Surny.
I mean, you do need to keep in mind one of those maps is Product, which historically is one of 7's weakest maps, but still,
that's true.
It's something.
Yeah.
Gullywash is one of their strongest, though, so it's quite something. They managed to beat 7 on one of their stronger maps as well, apparently, and it's quite a big deal, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what team is going to come out on top here, because usually I would be in favor of Feint, but both with how Aura Electro have been competing lately in their scrims, and because of this unfortunate situation with a bunch of the players on Feint not being here, it should be interesting to see. This matchup can be very close.
I'm hoping so. I hope for a great game.
Yeah.
One where actually stuff happens. Gets close. Lots of wonderful shit happening, like air shots and stuff. I love to see those. Always love to see those. The skies are never safe, especially with Corback. He's a madman. I just love watching him play because he's crazy.
Corback
is crazy stuff.
Brilliant. So let's run through the full rosters for either team. We have the standard core, the familiar faces of Aura Electro: Eames on Demo Man, Demos on Medic, Nevo on Scout, and Azunis on Roma. And then with their latest additions, we have Yeehaw the Theorist joining them on Scout, and Poison the Bus Driver taking the helm on Pocket Soldier. And as we've discussed on Feint, along with their newly subbed in players, we have Tomas and Classy on Scouts, and of course Seeds on Medic.
Oh. Yeah, so that's, again, they're missing 2 core players. Don't know how they're going to deal with that. Hope it works fine for them. They have suitable replacements, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, Lucas, obviously a Demo Man tank. And who else would you want to live up to his insane damage output than King Tai himself, switching off of Roma onto Demo here?
Gink is a very, very versatile player, so he's a kind of a jack of all trades. He can do anything pretty well, so I'm confident in his demo abilities. Might not live up to Lucas, but he's certainly going to be doing his job, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, Eames certainly feared him on the match page. Eames thought he lost as soon as Gink turned into the demo man class, and who can blame him?
Right. Hopefully we're going to get started here soon. It looks like all the players are here. But yeah, score predictions. Good idea. Let's do some of that. What you think, Bum? What you reckon this first map at least is going to go?
Ooh, the first map. I believe this is the map that Aura Electro lost to Goon Squad, Gullywash. So I'm not sure. They've probably been working hard on it. I remember watching this game. They had some good mid fights on week 1, and I wonder if Feint have looked into that and adapted to it. But I would say that Feint would probably be the ones taking this map. I'm gonna go out and say it'll be a 3-1 game. What do you reckon, Sammy?
That's a pretty reasonable guess, as we're actually getting started here. Rolling out into the first mid, it seems, and Gink making it about at the same time. The demos are very even here. Korvac going into drop down immediately. Nobody contesting him, so he's going to be behind, and he's going to be causing a little bit of havoc back there. Does get shut down by Yeehaw, though, and I'm going to be looking how this goes here. Aura having very superior positioning right now. They're taking that high ground very confidently. Poison Chris both falling, though, getting traded. Azunas and Neva also going down. Feint now picking up a lot of kills here, and Aura just forced to back off. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
Feint taking the first mid very confidently.
And Aura just going to be taking height here. Feint don't want to chase this too far. That was an interesting mid fight there. Korvac going down very early. It made Aura Electro seem like they were in control of the mid the whole time. They had Chris caught on the floor and everything. They had all the height, all the positioning. Feint were backing up into the corner, and all of a sudden the frags just started going their way, so they will win the mid fight. And it looks like we have a pause here.
Yeah, immediately. Oh, it might be a config issue. Well, we'll see if they resolve this.
Yeah, well, even Ubers, Tomas being down, but not for long. This is not going to be anything happening here off the back of this
arguably
pick, so
it's going to be a little bit longer until we see something happen. Maybe, you know, something opens up on the flank. Maybe we see an off-class come in. Tomas, you know, I've played with him before. He likes being a little wacky sometimes. Maybe he's gonna try something like an early off-class here, because he died while trying to sack in. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we might see him coming up on Sniper here. He did just rush in through the choke. It seemed like he was throwing his life away on purpose, so he should be spawning on an off-class by the looks of what he was doing there.
Other than that, we'll have to see what they can do. I can't make a very accurate prediction as to the current situation, what's going to happen. Very standard play here.
We've definitely not seen enough to hazard any guesses yet, at least. And now we do see ourselves going live again here.
Alright, just very standard stuff here. Everybody just looking to get that little bit of extra spam in through those choke points, as Tomas hopefully responding soon. He is up on the sniper, so our prediction was correct, and he's coming up, looking at that big door, seeing if he can look and maybe put a bullet in somebody's head. Maybe not. Now he's moving up to choke, which is only being protected by poison solely right now.
Seeds is going to be taking his heals over to Gink and Korvac, going to be making room for their sniper here, pressuring the flank as Tomas takes a wide angle around the side. That gets a lot of room for Korvac. He could even go behind them here, but Azunas gets into lobby to make sure that does not happen. Everyone's staying super safe. No one wants to peek Tomas here, and rightfully so. He could instantly kill anyone he sees.
They respect him. I like that. They respect the sniper. It's a very smart play. He's got his eyes. He's got his eyes on that shutter. He really wants Azunas. He's the only one that he can see right now. And now he's actually looking more to the right side. Also, Aura just being extremely safe. The choke, very empty in general, as Tomas now rotates over to it very quickly, peeking it. And it's still nobody crossing any sight lines. Very safe play here from Aura. They do not want to risk a thing whatsoever.
Yeah, no, they do not want to risk a thing at all. But Tomas looks like he's peeking around the corner now, going for an aggressive shot. Just manages to tag up Poison a little bit and gets out. He's going back to big door, so are his heals, but Eames is putting in a bunch of damage with a bit of support from Azunis on that basement door. Everyone just hiding again. Eames goes for a risky cross in front of the sightline, but he will survive.
Oh, Thomas very aggressive now, just running in.
Deep. Yeah,
he was trying for the hero shot, but everybody dared to just shut him down.
They just figured out Sniper wasn't working for them. They need to try something else, and they can't be just wasting time there when Aura Electro aren't giving them anything at all. Nevo gets a pick towards Chris on the choke, and that's actually the only player that was holding choke. The rotation is just getting there in time, but Yeehor has managed to bust through into elbow. He gets arrowed up, and Poison is helping him to pressure here. Classy might go down.
He's dead. Poison gets picked up on the flank though, and
Yeehor's picking up Tomas as well, which means that Seeds has to use first on Gink, and this is a much later Uber for Demos, but they're not going to be able to chase any frags out of it. They're just going to get this midpoint, and it should be back to stalemating again, unless they can really rush this before the scouts get here, but it doesn't look like.
Yeah, they're not going to carry that momentum. There's no way. Feint have shut down big door very, very securely here, and the choke rotation just isn't there. I mean, Azunas is jumping in and trying to go for something here. He does essentially trade with Chris, but where's the point in that? You're just trading your soldiers, and nobody's better off in the end. God, what's that supposed to be? Looks like we're just going to have to be waiting for the Ubers here again.
Yep, just a stun sack from Azunis after the pressure on Big Door. He thought maybe he could get in through choke, but clearly not. Both soldiers are going to respawn. No off classes as of yet. It's just a even Uber hold here around the choke.
Now, with your aura here, and you're trying to break this hold, you gotta try the sniper as well, or you reckon they try something a little bit different? Maybe just wait, spam out, maybe wait for somebody on Feint to mess up and try to capitalize off of that?
I trust Eames to be able to come up with a better master plan than running a sniper here. I don't know what he is going to be ordering his team to do. It looks like Poison's sacking in through the choke, trying to get in behind, which he does actually manage to survive there, gets the kit, so now they have Poison in behind. Classy and Chris have to go back to chase him down.
Opens up a little bit of
cleaned
space.
Up too quickly for anyone to make a play off of that on the Aura Electro side.
Valiant effort on the side of Poison though, and we're gonna see Feint get a little bit aggressive here in Big Door, pushing forward quite a bunch as
Chris in through drop down,
does get onto Demos.
Drop onto Demos as all his team was distracting from Big Door. That's a brilliant pick there, and now Aura Electro pushing in through the choke. They're trying to get this force back onto Seeds. They're all still so forwards, and they do manage to make Seeds pop it off. But this is going to be a guaranteed mid point here. Nevo's going to get cleaned up as well. He's on to Seeds, but does not clean that up. So the Ubers are even, but it's 3 down for Aura Electro. Feint are going to be rolling this in through Big Door pretty quickly here.
They're going to try to make use,
but does not pick up anything. And
trying to make use of that momentum. And it's not quite working. They're hitting a little bit of a wall now, but they do get second off the back of it, and Aura will have to try to set up for this last hold as best as they can to their abilities. They have a slight ad, obviously nothing to make much note of, but it's going to be enough to allow them to not lose instantly, so that's quite something.
Yep, the soldiers managed to spam down that level 1 sentry gun, and they do get Classy and Core back into lower with that. Azunis has to go and clear that up on the point. But he doesn't. Does he know about Korvac? Korvac's going to back out anyway, so it doesn't matter in the end.
We're going to have Feint recollecting here, waiting for Classy to respawn before they attempt to push yet again. And every second that they wait is just another second that Aura has a chance to set up more with that sentry gun. It's more coordination they'll need in the initial push once it actually starts to mount again.
Yep, well, Feint are not going to be pushing here at all into a sentry gun and a pyro. We're going to have to see what they can try and do about these off classes, or if they're going to try and play the point from River, because I do not think a shutter push here would work out very well at all.
They would instantly get shut down. There's absolutely no way they will get through that door. I highly doubt it.
We might be seeing a classic Gullywash double sack here as both soldiers going towards the riverside, but they are backing out now.
Just being very nicey with his spam though, making sure that he keeps the pressure up. You know, he's not letting off. He's not counting out. We're still here. He's letting himself be known, making sure that Aura doesn't feel too secure, which is always great. And it looks like Thomas has managed to slip through together with Korvac, and they're both in water now.
Yeah, that's Classy and Korvac under the point again. Azunis is spamming them out. Yeah, they've both been spotted. They know there's not much they can do, but with Gink spamming from main, trying to cause a distraction or get that sentry gun, would make it a lot easier for these players under the point to do something. But they
have to back
elect
off.
to just get out, yep.
And we're back to square one. Seems like that one didn't work out. Let's see what their next plan is. They're putting the pieces together, trying to make work of it. And it's definitely going to be River again.
Yep,
Classy does slip through again with
Classy
Korvac.
and Korvac under the point again. They're called out
Azunis a little
yet
caught
again.
off guard. Doesn't quite work out. Poison was there to back him up. And
They do have
they
some
both get shut
decent sacks, some decent cap time, but that is the double sack we were expecting to see, and now it will just be Feint backing off outside, locking down these doors. They've got Chris watching the top as well to make sure they don't get pushed from both sides at once, and Aura trying to get out of top.
Didn't quite work out for them. They didn't mount a push there, even though they
But
probably could've.
Classy gets in onto Eames from the basement there. That's a demo pick, which is really crucial for this last point. Gonna
That's
make
gonna
it a
help,
lot easier to edge the cap here. And that's what Classy and Chris want to do. They go under the point yet again. But Azunis will clean up Classy pretty quickly. Chris is
I
getting
didn't know about Chris
decent
though.
cap
Chris is
time,
going in. Ooh.
but he does
Didn't
get
know about
cleaned
him. Alright, well. Let's see what they try to do more here. Poison does overextend a
Oh
little
my
bit.
god,
and
Thomas was hiding the entire
my
time.
lord.
Manages to just finish off that last bit of cap time and wins out the round for Feint. First round 1-0 on the board.
the sneaky back cap always wins. You're never ready, you never expect it. And for some reason, it always slips through when you least expect it. Alright, second mid, let's see where we're going here. Playing a little bit differently. Korvac, again, very aggressive on that drop down though, and does not decide to jump up it for once, which is a smart choice. Chris picking up the first kill onto Azunis as Korvac gets picked up by Poison, and Poison now having the ability to just jump up here onto that high ground. Does not manage to connect much in terms of damage, but it's gonna allow his team to move up a little bit before they get pushed back again. Yeehaw also goes down, as does
Yeah,
Ease.
and Demos and Nevo have to run out here. They're running up top, which might be the worst choice here as they do get fought, and Demos falls off the high ground. He's stuck in the corner and gets cleaned up. That mid-fight was unfortunate for Aura Elektro. Towards the end of the mid-fight there, Korvac played on the floor the entire time. He managed to bait Yeehaw off the high ground as their team was moving forwards across the point, and did clean up Yeehaw with the help of his team on the floor there. So that was the final kill that managed to get them all the way across the point and let them pick up Eames at the choke as well. So Feint here, going to be capturing second with a full advantage for last. There's another level 3 with a Pyro defending it on Aura Elektro side. So it looks like a standard shot at Uber incoming here.
Let's hope that they manage to make it work. Every second they wait would be too long, and here it comes. It's getting absolutely denied by Nevo, though. They're not even managed to get through. They finally managed to get through the door as the Uber fades, and Thomas just gets absolutely demolished as a turn of it. That didn't go very well at all. I mean, now Classy does manage to slip through to water. Obviously, Azunis is going to be aware of that, and probably shut him down. Never mind, he does get killed, and the Heavy has to jump down onto the point to make sure that nothing happens, and only Gink and Seeds are left and have to just back off.
Yeah, that Pyro proved too strong at the shutter. Almost the entire Feint Uber used trying to deal with him, and then obviously 4 people sacking for the point just to see if they could finish off that cap, but they didn't manage to, and Eames is in all the way to mid, manages to pick up Thomas, making the space for his team, and they rush through while they're still capping second. Callback in onto Demos though. Demos makes a nice surf away onto the enemy team's side. Chris is ready and waiting, but Demos manages to remain safe here. They have a slight advantage for this push into second, and they've captured mid now.
I'm gonna see how they carry this momentum. It's probably not going to amount to much as Seeds is closing in on his Uber now.
Chris is hiding in drop down though, and he picks up Nevo. That's not the kill he wanted, but he'll take it. And now Feint coming a lot closer now that Seeds has managed to get his Uber charge in time. Chris in through drop down, gets caught out. He's just gonna try and leave, jumps back up to his own team, but Poison will not let him back out. So it's 2 down for Feint now, and we wonder if Eames is gonna take his team through Big Door here.
It looks like they are. They're rotating over right away. Korvac to just try to slow them down as much as possible, but he knows the inevitable is coming, and I would be surprised. I would be very surprised if we actually see an exchange here.
Yep, Azunis gets in through choke onto the big rock, but does get taken down, so the team decides to just back out. The pincer wasn't going to work with Feint all up on that high ground there. Poison gets taken down very low. He's like 10 health up at his choke, but they don't manage to get the kill. So it's another even situation on second here to mid.
Well, let's see how they try to break this. It's on Aura's, the ball's in Aura's court, even though, you know, they are a round down. They have the midpoint, and they have plenty of time to try to make something happen.
Yep, still 16 minutes on the game. They're not under much time pressure at all, and they're just spamming through the chokes right now. I wonder if anyone is going to sack and come up on a banner maybe. It's one of the best ways to at least get something done after a trade in this map where sacking is so difficult from mid into second even.
There's a lot of pressure
goes for an attempt there in Big Door, but does have to back out.
Lots of pressure on Big Door in general. Very valiant attempt there. Didn't quite work out in his favor, and we're yet again back to square one.
Yeah, 5 players for Aura Electro around this Big Door area. Only Poison up defending choke, and they look like they're trying to take the ground here. They get 2 players through into lobby. This is a good wrap from Azunis and Nevo, but Classy and Korvac have caught them out. Poison in the meantime does get a kill onto Chris at the choke. So pressure from both entrances here as Poison actually spams down to his team to help him out. Demos gets a kill on the demo man.
Ooh.
This is a brilliant advantage now for Aura to come in with, and Feint have to use their Uber first. Demos hasn't even used yet, so with this considerably better Uber, they will be chasing into lobby. Seeds goes down, Chris is going to get caught out here too. Classy gets picked up near the choke by Poison. And
very
just
solidly played.
4 up on last with no medic. This is going to be rolled in so quickly by Aura Electro, trying to equalize the rounds here.
They have all the time in the world now to just try to roll this in. Thomas trying to make something work on the sniper.
But Poison's already taken
pick.
so much room in the top right. He gets on the point, gets a lot of cap time. Gink is down low behind the point, and the scout of Nevo just plays the point and finishes it off. Poison walked through almost the entirety of the top there, uncontested, and just managed to lock the players in spawn while the rest of his team flooded in. And now it's 1-1, we're going into mid number 3.
Very solidly played. Right, let's see if these teams shake it up or if we see yet another rather scrappy mid from one of the teams here.
Well, Eames is rolling out on the right side. He's locked Gink into his choke. And
it's
now
already going to give his team a big advantage here as we see Azunas fall to Chris on the other side of mid, and Korvac going dangerously low. And Eames also getting taken down, which means that mid is just all over Feint's hands now.
Korvac is already in behind up top as well, and the collapse, he takes down Nevo. And now they're chasing into basement just to force these players out to last. It's going to be even Ubers for the last fight, and Eames is getting his spawn in time. So they look like they're going to be fighting second with this spawn. Middle hasn't been captured yet. So there's a lot of pressure from up top from Aura Electro, and they do catch Thomas with it. So Yeehaw is going to be going forwards, making space. Poison gets the bomb in right behind Korvac. And now they have all the height here, Aura, but Poison gets cleaned up. Yeehaw gets separated from his heal.
They force
and
seeds.
Feint uses here to get these last kills. It's just Demos alive. He unfortunately gets surfed out of main. He should just be kill binding here. He's going to die so late, Demos. Unless he gets into basement and gets out. Oh my god. There's no way he gets out here.
He actually makes it.
Demos.
He actually makes it. Chris is going for the
Chris
chase.
Is in for him and
all of them are
cleaned
after
up by
him.
Thomas.
Jesus Christ. The mad lad, he almost made it for getting shut down by 4 players chasing him. And this should be Feint's round. They're all over the point now. Nevo, the last player to try to make a difference, and obviously he's gonna have a hard time doing that against 4 players.
Yeah. Obviously, just how that round was meant to turn out after Feint get almost a 6k with their Uber. I mean, Demos manages to do the ring around the rosies for a little amount of time, but in the end, all 5 of his players got dropped in that Uber, so Feint take a swift round there.
Eames opting to go back for choke again. Didn't quite work out for him last time, so he's decided he's going back to his roots as Chris goes down first. Trying to just get a little bit of ground. Now Poison does take the high ground for a split second before Korvac also goes down. No soldiers on the side of Feint now, which means they have to back off. And that's a quick mid for Aura.
Yeah, and they don't have a lot of pressure from up top either, seeing as they have no soldiers. They do manage to pick up Eames on the shutter door there, classy, so now Feint are going to be looking more keen to fight this on the second point, but Thomas gets dropped by Seeds there. Seeds does finally use off his Uber, which is
Demos has a slightly worse Uber, yes, and they're going to have to probably just get out of this. They can't definitely not push last, even though Feint are losing a few players of their own. They're just not going to be able to finish this round off with something as scrappy as that.
Aura had all the positioning there, they got all the players in behind that had to make Feint run back with their Uber, otherwise they would just be caught out of position really badly when it faded. Looks like they're going to be trying to at least put some pressure on Lobby here. Chris goes down up top and the rest of the team notices that that is their time to leave.
As we now see Aura taking the upper lobby here, looking to maybe take this through the shutter door. There is no power up on the side of Feint, so it would certainly be a more advisable choice than when it was the other way around. But we're going to see what they try to do here. Demos is in the river right now.
Into water, but both soldiers catch him out on the point.
That sentry did go dangerously low, but they didn't manage to take it down, so it's just more time gonna be wasted on that. And Feint can afford to have as much time wasted as possible now, because they're still ahead.
Yeah, I wondered if that play was from Nevo was going to be his opportunity to spawn on an off-class, but they just decide to stay on their cookie-cutter class selection for now. Nevo gets back under the point again as Poison is peeking the shutters. It looks like they're going to try and make a distraction play on the point and then try and do something in shutter here.
Yes, he kills Korvac!
Kills
and
Korvac.
He caps off the point!
That is brilliant from Nevo. That's not what you should expect that scout to be doing. It looked like Aura wanted to do... Yeah, Aura wanted to do something else with that point play, but if Nevo can just kill the soldier and cap it out himself, then, I mean, good for him. And now it's 2-2, equalized scorelines heading into the 5th mid.
Korvac being really fast into the drop down there. Let's see if he can make anything happen. He gets into Eames before the team is there to back him up, and Poison gets taken down. Meanwhile, on the mid, all of Aura just clumped up in that choke now. They have to back off. They're getting so much damage pumped into them as Azunas also goes down trying to get out. And Korvac is in so far behind, just distracting it. The team of Aura here. There's nothing
oh my
to do.
god, he's pickaxing Eames. He's mining some diamonds right now. Eames goes down to Korvac. And now with a demo pick, they're definitely going to be rolling into last here, Feint. Chris has taken up so much space, already bombing onto the point. Second gets capped up now, and Korvac is fragging players on the point. Will get cleaned up. And Feint look like they want to leave now, actually.
They cannot follow up on this. The respawns were there too quickly, and they didn't manage to win the fight on the point, and unfortunately couldn't finish off this round, as we now see Aura trying to push out up top here. They do have an Uber, so even though it is equal, they can afford to be a little bit more aggressive, and it looks like Azuna is going to try to do exactly that. Gets onto Seeds, does not manage to connect his rockets though, and gets cleaned up. As we see Chris trying to do the same thing for a moment there, and Aura just forced to back off again, as they're now a player down, and they're still holding Lost. They can't forget that. It's been their undoing before, so...
And they are going to set up the standard Gullywash, Sentry, and Pyro. So, while we have a bit of downtime, let's talk about that mid-fight. Korbak played that really nicely, going up, drop down, and then he was called out, but he managed to just distract for his whole team. But as I'm talking about this, the sentry gun did go down, so Classy and Korbak are going to be playing under the point, trying to get a bit of cap time, or maybe recreate Nevo's play and just finish off Poison and win the round. But
it's not going to work
like
because Eames has a trap ready, and Azunas is also there to back up Poison, and that's just 2 players down on Feint. I wonder if one of them is going to decide to off-class now, as probably not, given the fact that they're going to be forced to back off here in a bit, because Aura are starting to push out, but we'll see.
Yeah, Aura have all the high ground, but they're not doing enough damage to convert into kills, as now the respawns from Feint come in. They've just decided they should be getting out. Classy gets into basement, but he's not going to go in for any melon brain plays. Just sprinting in. The Sentry and Pyro is back up once again on the side of Aura Electro.
It's just more time ticking off the clock, which an even score is not necessarily desirable. As we see Classy getting in behind under the water yet again. He's probably going to get easily shut down by his
Yeah, but while he's distracting, Korbak tries to bomb in because the Sentry is down, but Yeehaw does reflect all his rockets. Chris deciding maybe he can use this to get the last bit of cap time on the point, but he gets cleaned up too. It's 3 down for Feint, but also 2 down for Aura Electro, so they're going to be slowly peeking into lobby, seeing if they can push this one out, and it looks like Yeehaw and Poison are going to be leading the charge from up top.
As we see a spy actually coming up on the side of Classy here, he does manage to slip through without being discovered, and this could be big. If he manages to get a play working here, even just a pick onto Demos, that would be glorious for his team, as he's making his way in. They seem to be aware. Yeehaw is on the Pyro, obviously, but he's also spy checking, so they seem to be expecting a spy to maybe come around. He's going into secret, actually. Might even just try to go for the point if he's feeling real cocky.
He does have stickies on the point, so Classy is just going to be playing it. He does manage to bait the stickies out, and Korbak comes in with a bomb to try and finish off any cap time, but it looks like there's not enough, and now Chris in with a bomb as well from Riverside. But the sentry gun has been rebuilt, and there's no way he's getting away with that. So 2 down, they move outside again. Obviously not safe to hold lobby with these players down. And it looks like Aura have not got enough space. They know that Chris is about to spawn. They're just going to back out to last once again. And with 4 minutes left, we could be seeing this go to a golden cap. I believe that'll be the first golden cap of the season.
Yeah, Aura seem to be pretty comfortable going into it as well. They're not stressing out about trying to push out at all. They're being very reliable. They're trying to just lock down this last point and turn it into a prison. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out whatsoever. It's working well so far. Let's see if they can keep it up for the last few minutes.
Yeah,
if they really want to go that far.
Very safe. They don't want to be getting caught out, losing players on their pushing out, because that would be the only way that this really turtly last defense of Gullywash could be penetrated. But Poison is fighting 2 soldiers on Riverside and does go down. Classy uses this opportunity to get under the point, and Korbak bombs in
gets
as
shut
well.
Down by the sentry.
Yeah, a lot of point time, but you can't do anything unless that sentry gun is down. They've been good at spamming it down before they tried to get in when on all their other rounds, but this time they didn't manage to catch the sentry there, so they will be successful in pushing out by the looks of it against these 3-man.
Chris drops Demos though.
Oh my god.
And Eames does get a fat free K when spawn camping there, but
Eames was spawn camping the forwards as well and gets 3 kills, so Aura are going to be really confident now, despite losing Demos, that they can at least cap up mid by scaring Gink off here. They should be just capping up mid and then looking to leave and try and get a force on Seeds after they've captured here. And Seeds does use it out to block mid even.
They managed to deny the middle point, and Aura just have to run away. Eames gets picked up in the Uber, and the rest of Aura are just running for their lives. As Feint are now recapping that second point and trying to even carry some of this momentum into last, at least pressuring players away, making sure that nothing leaves that last point.
Yeah, callback hiding in secret gets a bit of cap time. Maybe a bit overly optimistic from Feint to try and rush into last there when they did not have enough time captured on second for that to work out. Those players were overextending into last, got caught up there, and now with the 2-player advantage and the slight Uber advantage for Demos, they are going to get second.
Feint just forced to back up there. Classy is still being very aggressive in Big Door, but he does decide to leave his spot there as he doesn't see any future in it. And we're back to a very standard situation here.
Yeah,
Feint.
with 1 minute left on the clock, it's all or nothing for Feint. If they don't want to get this to a golden cap, they need to be pushing in now, and it looks like that's what they're trying to do, clearing out Choke with Chris and Thomas here.
They are trying to go in for Choke here. Only Poison there to spam them down a little bit, and they're starting to take a lot of ground as the server lagged for a moment. Eames does pick up Thomas, and
yep, and Seeds used first. Okay. Demos instantly pops it off his own Uber, and Poison on top of that high ground makes Feint just have to get out. They can't hang around any longer or they'll get cleaned up. And now they're trying to repush with all this 30 seconds they have left. It has to be a roll here. In through Big Door, Chris gets into lobby. Gink is taking a lot of damage. Eames is just locking them off in the Big Door here. The stickies all over the floor. And with 15 seconds left, I don't think this is physically possible, so we are going to a golden cap, Surny.
Very interesting. Was not expecting this to be such an even matchup and seeing it to go this far. But the more the merrier. The more rounds we get to see these players duke it out on, the better.
Yeah, and now we can just see whichever team wins the mid fight. We can have a very nice analysis of their last hold, trading players backwards and forwards onto the point for a while, which seems to be the way that both teams like to be pushing last at the moment, is just trying to play the point and then sack on it from River and see if anything manages to actually stick. They're just throwing everything they can at that last point because they know that a regular trade or double sack are just not going to be useful against the Pyro and Sentry that every team sets up nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah,
so look at these logs here, I believe. Let's take a look.
And Chris is the one with the highest damage a minute, but obviously not a very high damaging game after the amount of times they just spent on last spamming sentry guns backwards and forwards.
Does not count on the logs, unfortunately, so if you're playing for the numbers, that's a bad sentence, trying to kill sentries.
Yeah, the interesting thing, though, that I can see here is, despite this being an extremely even game, Aura Electro came out far on top of the kills, despite having a lot less damage. You can see they've been cleaning up the kills a lot more efficiently than Feint were, perhaps. There was a lot of players going low in those confrontations on up top of second, but it looks like Aura were the ones converting those into kills more often. And also, the other thing is that Seeds had more Ubers, and that Demos dropped twice, and neither of those drops from Demos were really converted by Feint. There was that one time where he dropped on second, but Eames was already pushing way ahead, and he had that sticky trap on the forwards, managed to pick up 3 players, so it wasn't even used in
they managed to play around that surprisingly well, despite losing their medic with an Uber 2 times. They did not actually lose rounds due to that, so quite impressive on the side of Aura there, really, that they managed to just, even in the times of despair, managed to still somehow convert it into at least not losing, I suppose. Other than that, very, very standard logs here. Nothing else really sticks out to me for the most part. I guess an interesting stat is that despite having won most of the mid fights, Feint have only won half the rounds.
Yeah, Feint's mid fights were always going in the favor of them. There was the mid fight where Korbak was playing the floor, managed to bait the players down onto the floor despite being very low and cleaning them up. Korbak's been very influential on the mids. There was the other mid fight where he bombed up, drop down. All the players were looking at him and had called him, but as they decided we need to clean Korbak up because the players were pushing the point in front of them, Korbak just jumped away and gave them the jukes. They had to chase him all the way back, and that let Feint take pretty much the entire midpoint for free on that mid fight. There wasn't even many kills back and forth on that mid fight. I think maybe 1 or 2 players were picked up, but it was mostly just the pincer and then the escape of Korbak that got it in blue team's favor. Do you think Feint should have won that? Do you think if it weren't for this this off class that it would be playing out any different, or do you think Gink is pulling his weight on Demo Man?
I think Gink is definitely pulling his weight. He's not at many flashy plays, but you don't have to have flashy plays to be a good player. You can pull your weight without, being a standout player at all times and being the one that everybody talks about in the frag movies. But I don't know if the off class would have made a difference if they didn't have it. All things considered, they tried. It was very early on in the game. They had a lot of doors open. They saw a lot of parallel universes in which they could have taken that first round more quickly. And as it turned out, it didn't quite happen. However, we're now headed into the golden cap round as the countdown starts, and we're now starting. This is going to be the round that matters the most because it's the one that counts the most.
Yep, it's the only round that counts now. 2-2 is the scoreline, and the winner of this will take 2 points for the ETF2L fixture, and the loser will take 1 for losing in overtime.
As we see, not much happening. Both teams playing this mid very carefully. Poison finally being the first player to get picked up, and Korbak going huge, picking up Azunas and Yeehaw very quickly before getting cleaned up. Eames also going down. This is looking like a very solid mid for Feint, as only Nevo and Demos having to back off all the way to last on the side of Aura, and this could be a very quick round if Feint play their cards right here.
Yeah, Classy tried to run down that medic and scout alone, see if he could pick up Demos. That would be a guaranteed round almost, but they do have enough players to contest second here. Poison has got himself on top, really denying Gink from getting back through choke. So that is a crucial pick. With even Ubers, a Demo Man down, Aura are going to be looking to pressure this choke here and maybe get into mid. Yep, they're walking it through on Poison. They're going to pop it off, and Chris gets dropped from the Uber by Seeds. Seeds does use a bit later onto Tomas, but that lets Poison in for free. He's going behind, trying to cause a bit of chaos. Azunis and his team now collapse onto this Uber charge, bombing him from Big Door. And they're getting
very caught out there, and he does get picked up as well. That's Feint collapsing with only Chris and Korbak up, trying to probably just stay alive for now before they get themselves killed as well, and Aura now in the driver's seat.
Yeah, that was a really nicely played trade from Poison. Not only manages to get a pick before Seeds can Uber, but also distracting by just jumping around, and then his team can collapse with the time that he's wasted on the Uber for Feint. So now we are seeing it's a big advantage for Demos, but the Pyro and Sentry, the classic crux of every team on this map, they're going to be looking to take it through Riverside.
They are pretty far back though, so this could actually potentially be a worthwhile shutter push. Not that they're going to do it as they pop in through the riverside and are trying to put as much damage into that sentry, finally taking it down. And Ink and Korvac putting pressure onto the point, trying to make sure it doesn't get capped off. Does not matter, as the combined forces of Aura just walk on and cap it off.
Yeah, a perfect textbook last push from Aura Electro. Take down the sentry, lock the players in spawn, and just get your scouts to run onto the point. It wasn't even particularly hard to lock those players in spawn. They only had Chris ahead of these spawn doors. Every other player was so close up to that sentry bundled on the top left there that after the sentry gun goes down, they have almost no choice but to give up their control of the point. So, 3-2 in the end is the score for Aura Electro. They take 2 points for winning in overtime. And we're going to go on to Product now. Do you know anything about these teams on Product? Do you have any expectations for who's going to win that one?
I have no clue, but given the fact that throughout the whole thing, as we saw with Gully now, Aura seem to be the team that has the DM advantage as they just get more kills. Usually, Product is a map that favors teams that have good DM. Because even if your strategy sucks, you can just kill people, because the map's so goddamn small, you can just run people down. So maybe it will favor them slightly, but overall, Product is a wild card for any match because it's the odd one out. You know, it's not the thing we're used to. It's just a little different. It's a little strange, and it gets played differently, and that might be the wild card that these teams need.
Yeah, well, Aura have been having close games against Seven on this map. Obviously, notoriously one of Seven's worst maps, but Aura must be doing something well if they can take maps off Seven on it. And who knows, maybe Feint are a bit disheartened after their loss on the first map. I'm sure they are used to it by now. They won't have the emotions of your average player, but who knows?
That would be catastrophic, obviously. Tilt is always something that can easily turn a game around very quickly. I can only hope that these players are resilient to it. But we'll have to see. Making predictions on Product is always difficult because of the wild nature that this map entails, and the quick backs and forth, and you can't really see a trend in a game because things can change extremely quickly.
And I wonder if we're going to be seeing very much Sniper played by either of these teams. I know that Nevo is very capable on Sniper, and they can easily switch a soldier onto Scout to help keeping their medic alive with situations that they want to run a Sniper on this map, maybe.
It's a very popular Sniper map, without a doubt. We've seen incredible snipers do their plays on this map, so who knows? Anything is possible. If we see both teams running a Sniper, which is obviously possible, I'm interested in seeing those Sniper duels. I like seeing those, seeing which one of them comes out on top and playing accordingly. Those are always fun to watch because it's the purest distilled form of skill of looking at a corner and waiting until somebody walks around it.
Yeah, there's at least on this map, sniping is not as boring as on the other maps because it's a very open. You can see everything. The sniper actually usually gets kills rather than just staring at a corner and waiting. As you said, in 5CP happens quite a lot. And we are getting all the players onto their teams now, so we should be going live shortly. So, Sunny, what do you think the score will be for this map? If you had to take a wild guess.
I think we're going to see another close game, obviously. The last one was extremely close, and I would not be surprised if this one is close as well. And I'm just going to continue the trend. I really think Aura are going to take the edge here again and going to just win with a 3-2 or something like that. They're going to be just slightly better.
Yeah, obviously, no way you can split points on this map. There's no golden caps. Whoever wins it outright. So, if you are correct and Aura do manage to take these points off Feint, it would be really, really beneficial to them after dropping some points in the first week that you could argue they probably shouldn't have dropped.
Yeah, being able to take down a rather strong team like Feint, albeit without two of their main players, certainly gonna do them well for the rest of the season. Maybe they can carry it into next week as well if they gain a lot of positive mental attitude from this. Who knows?
Yeah, they're just probably going to be taking it 1 week at a time. I think it's next week it's Product again, but that's when the maps get kind of funky this season. We've got 9 maps in the map pool for once, rather than our usual 7. But we have gone live into map number 2. Take it away on the mid-fight for me, Surny.
Alright, let's see what we got here, what these teams are going to be looking to do on this mid-fight. Azuna's going in deep right away. He's far behind onto the enemy's China here, and going onto Seeds. Seeds does just stay alive though, and Azunas has to settle for Gink as frags are being traded either way.
Yeah,
Demos and Eames do go down.
Korbat gets behind and picks up Demos, so now the counter-sacks are coming in from Poison, but the scouts of Seeds are defending him so well. Nothing can get near him, and then it's going to be a full advantage and the point for Feint here.
Very, very solidly played. Despite losing Gink pretty early, they just managed to send Korbat in and send all that force into the backline of Aura there and just shut them down entirely.
Yep, so now it looks like a sack wave coming in. Everyone's trying to get in on Seeds. Eames gets one pipe and Seeds has to use it. So all of the rest of the Aura Electro players now just have to die or get out so that they can regroup with their team. They've flipped the advantages in their favor, but it looks like they're going to... well, I thought they were going to forward hold, but they're just putting Korbat close here. They've already broken out through Cliffside here, so taking the Uber towards the point, and just looks like they're going to be edging it and capturing it. Feint are not wanting to contest. Although now I say that, now 2 soldiers come in, and they get straight onto Demos. That's a huge drop there.
And they flipped the odds yet again, and Aura hasn't even capped yet. They delayed them just a little bit more to wait for these spawns. As Seeds now has his Uber up, and they're absolutely going to recontest this as soon as they can.
Yep, Nevo waits for all his spawns and finishes off the cap there. Now it's the point in control of one team and advantage in control of the other yet again.
Could just be another flip we see again. It's happened literally 10 seconds ago. The Uber comes out of the side of Seeds, they go in very deep on the cliff side and just push all the players of Aura back, finally picking up Demos.
They managed to pick Demos up, but Seeds is so caught in there in the enemy house. It's a scrappy fight underneath Cliff. Korbat gets on to Yeehor and
Tomas alive with 5 health. The sole survivor of this battle royale. He gets the chicken dinner, and the chicken dinner being the capture point.
I couldn't put it better myself. The soldiers trading out there at the end of that fight, and Tomas just had to stand by and watch. So Feint collecting control of the point once again. They do have time advantage here. 1 minute 30 on the clock for them, and 2 minutes 15 for Aura Electro. Although Aura have forced them back pretty well. Yeehor edging the point, which has to bring in the bomb from Korbat, and then also Chris gets in onto Eames and picks him up.
Classy, meanwhile, getting picked up in while trying to go behind as well, and Feint just have to back off. They cannot contest this point anymore. They lost too many players trying to stop the force of Aura, and Aura yet again in control with an even Uber situation.
Yep, Feint are super far back waiting for their spawns here. Gonna be taking it forwards on Cliff now. They want to trade, and they do onto Tomas. Demos uses his Uber, and they put Chris behind here into house with their Uber charge. It fades off Demos now, and he bombs straight in and gets the kill. All of the rest of Feint collapsing across the point. They're picking up more and more kills, as now Zunis bombs in behind, trying to hopefully get in onto the medic of Seeds, but Seeds surfs it away. He's having to fight all 3 players on the point, and Seeds does get cleaned up right at the end of this fight. It's taken so long, Nevo's still juking around people, and it looks like we have a pause.
That was almost sad to witness. Like, they knew Korvac was behind there. He was slotted in, and he still manages to pick up demos anyways.
Yep,
and he has like 3 players watching him. That's almost sad to watch, but it worked out for them.
Yeah, and he does get a rocket in onto Seeds, and unfortunately for Seeds there, the only place to surf is into several other players. So it looks like Feint are going to be able to capture the point here at least. Nevo is surely going to die to this rocket from Chris that is suspended in midair, and the rest of Aura Electro spawns have only just come in. So yeah, the point is going to go in favour of Feint here, as they have 1 minute left on the clock.
Gonna get into crunch time of this round very quickly, with both teams getting low on the timer, and gonna be seeing some very frantic play. Well, hopefully not, obviously, but it's probably going to happen realistically.
Yeah, that was an incredibly long fight there over that point. You'd expect after they got in onto Demos so fast, it would just be cleaned up. They had good aggression coming across the point, but Aura managed to claw it back, pushing across the right side of point from their perspective. They were bundling all of Feint into their area underneath Cliff. Maybe they were scared of someone getting in onto Seeds, they just wanted to keep him alive, and then they could play around their heals. Obviously, whilst Demos is down, all damage onto Aura Electro is permanent. They can just whittle them down slowly while getting healed up themselves. But that space proved to be vital for Aura Electro. They got a Zunis in behind, and he did pick up Seeds on the tail end of the fight and get crucial damage in to pick up some other kills as well on Feint players.
It could just be what Aura need as well. That could be the little push they need to recontest this as soon as the unpause actually happens, because Feint haven't capped the point yet, and they're 3 players down. So if Aura can mount a quick enough push, they might just be able to hold on to the point.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're able to hold on to the point at all here, but they will be looking to contest it straight away after Feint do capture it. Seeds and his other players will be on a pretty long respawn, especially once it gets capped up. They might wait to let their players spawn before they capture the point, because obviously capturing the point does delay spawn times. So I expect the point to go the way of Feint here, but not for long, because Demos is already spawned, and his players are going to be there faster to help him reclaim the point. But the crucial question is, Surny, if we have a look at Chris versus Nevo, does this rocket hit, or does Nevo teleport behind him?
Here's the thing, I didn't see which way Nevo was already moving before the pause, but the way I know TF2, it's possible that this does not hit. It's unlikely. And even if it's just a little splash, Nevo's on 14 health. The man's probably going to just die if a fly hits him. But
yeah, but Scout always wins, Surny. Scout always wins.
Scout's too strong, I know, but still. I believe in the engine to make this rocket connect, but ultimately we're gonna have to see. Even then, Chris can take 2 shots, so...
Yeah. And Tomas is right around the corner to steal his kill, so Nevo's dying either way.
It's just whether or not he gets to deal some damage first. No, he's dead, alright.
Yeah, instantly taken down by Chris there. As we have a pause unpause just to fix up some of the bugs of pausing, it looks like. Yep, so we're just in another short pause whilst these players decide if they're ready to go. They've got their player in the server. And we are live again.
There we go, we're playing again. And let's see when these players start coming up. Feint do flip the point, and they did wait for the spawns as well, at least for most of them. And Aura are now going to be trying to do something here. They have to cap this point off as fast as they can, because they're running out of time. Clock's ticking, and while they do have a slight ad, it's probably not much to write home about.
Yeah,
overall.
It's a small advantage for Demos, but he does get picked up by Callback, bombing in behind, and the Gink God Pipe, spammed straight from ahead, catches him off, finishes him, and Nevo is trying to capture this point, but he's going to get forced out. Seeds has a full advantage now, and Feint are in control of this point. They only need to hold it for 15 more seconds, Surny.
Looks like they're gonna take it, unless Aura can pull a miracle out of their magical hat here. It's looking like a round going to Feint. They can maybe delay the inevitable, but Seeds does pop off his Uber to just ensure that this point does not change hands anymore. And Nevo being left alone to die.
With that full overcharge and so little time left on the point, there was nothing Aura could really do. They throw themselves at it, but they just get used on, and obviously it's a easy cleanup for Feint when all of their players are invincible and the other team is not. We're into mid number 2 here.
Alright, we have Zunas jumping in behind again, doing the same thing he did last minute. However, this time there are actually players to respond to him. The distraction does not work out, as he and Nevo getting both picked off. Yeehaw following close behind, and Korback just dying somewhere in the midst of the scraps.
Yep, a clean mid-fight from Feint here. The saving grace for Demos is that he does get out alive with his overcharge. It's still a small advantage for Seeds as he was healing more in the fight, but it should be just looking to take a trade over the point, and Aura will be able to fight after that once both Ubers are out of the equation.
That being said, Korback does try to go for a play and gets picked up again. Yeehaw being traded, and the Uber is now coming out onto the point here. Demos seemingly having the better one, and forcing the team of Feint back as they get this point captured off, hopefully very soon. Maybe not. Feint do try to respond. God damn it.
Yeah,
Nothing ever goes according to plan.
Did a good job of just tanking the heals and getting some good cap time in before the force. That means he's got a lot left to just get finished off by Nevo now, as the point does eventually change hands. That's always great to get your scouts getting a lot of cap time before the trade, because if you take it in onto the opponent's side, they can carry on capturing whilst the Ubers are being exchanged. But now we have Chris going in deep, gets onto Demos and does manage to eventually clean him up. So Feint have an advantage now, and they are playing the point. Azunis in with a counter-sack. Yeehaw's running all the way in, trying to get onto Seeds. Nevo now, the last man standing, gets one meat shot on Seeds, but it's not enough to make him force. So now the Feint team is going to be in control of the round by having a time advantage, an Uber advantage, a player advantage, and they own the point. They don't elect to go for a forward hold here, which is interesting. The other team was 6 down, but
they decide to stay passive regardless. That's an interesting decision. I guess they just want to play it safe.
They want to get Seeds on this high ground for this sack wave that he knew was coming. It's a perfect place to hold up on this cliff. All these players have to go so far to get onto him, and Seeds just jukes them all like a boss. Manages to survive. Demos was in spawn building this whole time, so it's going to be even Ubers to take a trade here, but that was a lot of time run off the point by Feint by just juking those 6 players that came out there.
Alright, there is cap time coming on again as per usual before Feint finally contesting the point. Seeds and Demos both popping off their Ubers at pretty much the exact same time.
Yeah, Seeds unfortunately dropped his scouts from the Uber though, and that is exactly what you don't want on Product. He had no chance to chase the frags after the fight. He had no one to keep him alive if they were going to bomb him after the fight. He just had to back out to spawn and let Aura Electro take this point.
They're not gonna let that sit on them for very long, though. I can tell they tasted the blood, and they're definitely gonna try to push back in here and make things right. As we see soldiers flying all over the place, Captain coming in a lot, and Nevo, Yellow, and Eames all falling.
The Gink and Korvac damage on all these players just clustered up on the low ground. That's an easy capture for Feint, and they've kept their medic alive as well. The soldiers are going to be on a bit later spawn though, so Eames is looking to contest already. Azunis gets in behind on concrete too.
And he's met with an opposing force in Korvac. Looking to see how this goes. Uber comes out of Demos, now also out of Seeds. Demos going dangerously low before he popped. Though that was a nerves of steel on that man. And it is enough for Aura to flip the point in their favor again. And they need this time. They need to hold on to this for as long as they possibly can.
Yeah.
That time bank is not looking like it's in their favor right now.
Yeah, roughly 1 minute 30 on the clock for Aura, but there's only 20 seconds if Feint can manage to get this again. Korvac's in high, gets Demos into the house. Demos is just juking him around, but no one's with him to help. Eventually the scouts come back, but Demos gets cleaned up in the fight. Seeds has already legged it out of there. He's staying alive for this one. And Thomas is just trying to do a bit of damage, staying alive a lot longer than he deserves to. And does get cleaned up eventually. But the spawn wave is here for Feint now, and they have 50% Uber advantage.
That's a big number. And it's going to be enough to maybe just scare Aura, even if Aura are easily intimidated, which, as far as we've seen, they aren't, for the most part. But they're gonna have to play it a little bit safer here. They know that Feint has this big ad, and they know that, you know, if they screw it up now, if they lose too many players, it's over. The round will end immediately.
Yeah,
they're gonna let Feint take the point.
They're gonna get the cap on the point here, Feint, and Poison is in behind and looks like he's gonna get cleaned up by the two soldiers. It's a 1-for-1 trade as Classy goes down, so now Aura have to capture this point without Uber into a team with Uber. I don't think they have any chance here at all.
They just have to pull another miracle out. They can. If we've seen them do one thing, it's do miracles, but maybe not this time. As Yiva being the only player left on the server.
Feint haven't even had to use their Uber yet. Seeds popped it off just for the logs there, probably, just so he gets a nice new Uber charge on his counter, and it's 2-0 for Feint. This game has not been as close as we predicted, maybe.
It looks like Aura might want to change up their strategies a little bit. We'll see how they take it into this next round, as Gink making it to mid very, very quickly, being the first player there. And we're going to see how the teams approach this mid. Azunas again going in for a deep bomb, and Poison pulling up on the other side as Korvac jumps in behind on their team, and Eames, Seeds, and Yeehaw being the first players to fall, followed by Gink, Korvac, Azunas, and Poison. Everybody's fucking dying, oh my god! Demo stays alive though, and he does get out, which means despite losing the mid, at least they have their medic.
Yeah, Feint played that well. As soon as the two soldiers went behind them, they were full steam ahead, just ran across the point. Unfortunately, they didn't get any kills in the early fight, so those soldiers that went behind had time to reload and bomb straight back in, getting the early kills. And now, here comes the sack wave.
Oh, they do get Demos!
All throw themselves in and get Demos in the sack. So again, the Ubercharge advantage flipped straight away. The sack waves for Feint have been so much more successful than the ones we've seen out of Aura Electro. Demos has been hiding in that pit behind the rock, whereas Seeds prefers to hold up on top of the cliff as he lives a lot easier up there. I think Demos has been taken down by every single sack wave that Feint have thrown at them.
I think so, yeah. He's always been very, very unlucky with those, or just not deciding to pop, as we see Seeds getting forced off now, and they're going to take this Uber into the depths of Aura, trying to just pick up as much as they can with it.
Oh, Korvac gets in behind just as the Uber fades, everyone else retreats. Korvac jumps in and cleans up Demos, which the Uber originally failed to do. So this is good for Feint, at least, but they didn't manage to get the point with that Ubercharge advantage. They just got the kills.
That might not be enough. They will probably manage to flip this point if they play their cards right here, as Aura is still being a little bit more passive. And they do manage to flip the point, as we see Poison jumping in again, trying to make something happen. The rest of his team moving across before getting pushed back again. And it's just an endless back and forth between players pushing forward and dying. Thomas and Zunas essentially trading places here. Poison getting picked up now on the side of Aura, and Feint having to back off a little bit. They don't have the ground. Korbak is in behind though, and he's choosing to not make much use of that situation. And only manages to pick up Yeehaw.
He trades for a scout at least, and that forces Aura Electro back quite a bit, but now no soldiers for the sides of Feint. It looks like they're going to be edging the point. Eames is running right over it, getting some good damage in, and Seeds uses his Uber on that. Eames gets dropped from his team's Uber, but Demos does use a lot later. He doesn't elect to chase down the frags, but at least his team gets the Uber there.
Will be enough for the point. Yeah. Well, hopefully will be enough for the point. Feint are here to respond. They won't give this one up without a fight. And gonna have to, if you want this point, you're gonna have to fight for it, is what Feint are saying here. And they're not giving it up. They're not giving it up. Aura just now managing to actually push enough force into the point to cap it off.
Yeah, that was strange. Aura kind of kept the point to like 90% and then just left it alone, giving Feint the chance to contest. Maybe they were waiting for some spawners before capturing.
It looked like they were waiting for spawners, but
yeah.
They should have probably just capped off there. It was only 2 people and they were already soon to spawn anyways. But here we see Feint yet again remounting the pushback. Eames does pick up Chris with a trap, and Poison is in onto Seeds, who just flies away. He soars the skies like an eagle and does not die. As he's getting very close to his own Uber, and just does not die, just barely evades death. Demos also coming up on an Uber, so it's going to be an even Uber situation with 4 of the players on the side of Aura down. And Nevo being very aggressive there just to protect his medic.
Yeah, Gink goes forwards though and gets picked up there, so now Aura are definitely going to take a trade across point here before Gink spawns.
Certainly going to go in their favor. And they also have
point
less time.
As they like to do before the Ubers. Seeds has to use first as well, which is great for Demos, but Yeehaw has to take a flash. So the Ubers are relatively even there. Aura Electro do have the presence on the point though, as Zunis bombs in with Poison and just collapses on all these players. Demos though gets picked up by Korbak.
Korbak just always managing to slip through. He sees the cracks in the defense of Aura and just always slips through at the right time to pick up Demos. It's happened a lot on this map specifically.
Yeah, Korbak is
slipping through.
Korbak's playing out of his mind. He's killed Demos every single time. Maybe it is the Merc carry after all. Maybe they should just put Gink on demo permanently and just get Korbak on the team. And now Feint are taking this to the point. They do get the first frag onto Poison, but Azunis goes behind, picks up Seeds, and Eames is getting some frags on the point as well. Seeds was so close to Uber there, they could have just waited for it, but it looks like now it's going to be a big advantage for Demos, and there's 10 seconds left on the point.
Chris trying to go in behind together with Korbak, and Korbak not getting the pickaxe kill yet again. Doesn't get 2 of those. Fool me once. Shame on who did he kill? He killed Poison, I believe, last time. Or Eames, actually. Eames, yeah. He mined Eames. But Eames not gonna let himself get fooled twice. And that's a round for Aura.
Yeah, Aura's first round. They're definitely managing to put up a good fight, despite the fact that Korbak is getting in onto Demos so frequently, and the sack waves from Aura aren't really getting in onto Seeds very much. So here we see the 4th mid-fight. Korbak's already in behind.
And he's in deep,
and he gets in onto Demos straight away yet again, as we were just saying. Eames bombs forwards, does manage to get Seeds with the last pipe in his clip, but all the Aura players are getting cleaned up by the scout duo of Feint, and they win the first mid of this round.
Korbak was just flying around the backline there like a speed demon, and he manages to actually pick off Demos. I was about to say before that as well that Aura's, just like on Gully, seem to be able to play around the fact that despite Demos dying a lot more, seem to still be able to play around it pretty well. Not that time, but we'll see how they handle it this time. As Seeds did go down, so Demos actually has a slight advantage, and Gink trying to bomb in deep
bombing
here.
in so deep and manages to get out with his life. But Korbak and Classy can't say the same. They do manage to get picked up by Wiethoofd. So now a slight advantage for Aura Electro here, and they are in control of the point. Seeds is just going to be waiting to get his Uber and taking a trade across point, as he has been usually. Gink bombs in high right now, managing to get nothing with it though, gets caught out on the point. They didn't really need to double sack here. Demos does not have a considerable advantage. They could have just taken a trade. Seeds already has the Uber about 5 seconds after those players died, so it might have been a bit better to take a trade there rather than sack, but what do I know? I'm not a Premiership player.
Exactly. We're not the professionals, these guys are, so obviously they know what they're doing. Either way, do you see the Uber come out of Seeds there before Demos finally pops his? Obviously the way better Uber, but Chris does slip behind, and Korbak is up on the cliff as well. Ink bombing in deep.
Right onto Demos with Chris. He gets cleaned up at the end, but Seeds should be staying alive here. He has his 2 scouts to hide behind, and it looks like they're going to delay the capture for their spawns once again, Feint, as Azunis gets cleaned up behind them. But Nevo's snuck behind.
Slips in. Ooh.
I don't know if they've spotted him. They certainly have now, but it's too late. Seeds gets taken down by Poison.
And they ran a truck on Feint there, especially on Seeds. They got punished for waiting to cap that point. They should have just tried to get as much time as possible instead of waiting. It might be enough for Chris to cap off here if he chooses to, but Aura are coming back quickly, and their scouts are now. They're gonna definitely try to mount some sort of comeback push here. Maybe they're even just gonna wait for that Uber, as the Ubers are pretty even. So we might just see both teams electing to wait for a little bit.
No, I think what you really want to be doing when neither team has Uber is putting pressure on this point, which is exactly what the scouts start to do. They bring in the bombs, and Korbak and Chris again onto Demos. They get all the kills they need. Seeds staying alive for a full advantage and keeps control of the point. Nevo, Poison, and Eames all just surely gonna sack here, or rather, it looks like they're playing the point.
Anytime they can get, it's gonna help
let them have it. Yeah, Feint are gonna let them have it here, and then use off their Uber. It's not in a great position either. They really got caught out by Aura Electro there in a position they really didn't want to be using in.
And they didn't even cap the point off just yet. A lot of pressure coming in from Eames before he gets taken down. Demos killing Korbak.
Yeah, Demos finally gets his revenge.
Finally a payback. One time that he manages to actually defend himself. If nobody else is doing it, he's taken matters into his own hands, and he's defending himself.
If you want something done properly, you have to do it yourself. But Feint now have control of the point, but Demos has the Uber advantage. Feint are playing so far back. Again, this is really showing that Seeds does not want to be dying to any Uber that they take into him. He looks like he's going to get in time to contest here even, has 99%. And now it looks like they're going to be taking the Uber into Demos. They both use it roughly the same time, but Feint has to flash more.
And it's a very, very nonchalant Uber. Nothing really happens before Zunis finally drops in the after Uber fight, and Poison jumps in. Ink getting taken down, trading with Poison essentially. And Aura does manage to cap off the point before picking up Korbak at the tail end there. Now, what do Feint do here? Well, no clue. They're going to try to take this point again, obviously. The times are very even, so it's going to get a little scrappy as both times are not only reaching the 30-second mark, but also both teams just keep throwing players at the point, trying to make something work.
Yeah, Feint put a lot of players forwards there just to get control of the point. It was not worth it in the end. They only held the point for about 3 seconds before those kills that they lost came back to haunt them, as Aura just collapsed on the point and pushed them out with the player advantage. Azunis goes down, now, though, so Feint are going to be looking to take this trade they used considerably earlier. Demos has only just popped now, and he's going to be chasing them out with Yeehor here.
Korvac and Chris both in behind, though, and Aura are aware of it, but are they going to play around it? And they certainly do not, as Demos goes down again. Eames goes dangerously low before Korvac dies, and Chris is still alive, roaming the lands, killing Eames finally before going down himself.
And Seeds lives again. Korvac has Demos' number today. Every single time he wants to kill Demos, he gets it. He's just like bombing in over and over again and picking up Demos every single time. I'll be interested to see the medic's logs after this, because Seeds has been staying alive a lot more. And now it's overtime for Red on the point, but Feint have 4 seconds left, and it looks like they're winning this final fight.
Collapse. They just collapsed, absolutely mulched in the meat grinder of Feint there in the last few seconds of that round, and that's going to be the finisher of this map. Feint take it, 3-1.
Yeah, Feint 3-1 is the score, which leads the overall score of the fixture after the 2-1 Golden Cap split in favor of Aura Electro. Means that Feint have 4 points from this fixture, and Aura Electro pick up 2, which, honestly, I'd say is what I would have expected from both teams. I'd say with the skill split of these teams, that's the amount of points they should be getting from this fixture. Feint clearly were the better team today, but Aura definitely deserve those points, and it looks like they will be one of the best contenders for that 4th place playoff spot at the end of the season.
Absolutely, they are putting up a great fight. Let's take a look at the logs, though, because this is going to be a little bit more interesting this time around. It's not going to be as bland as Gullywash was. Something actually happened this game. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, as you see if you sort by deaths, Seeds only dying 6 times throughout the entire game. Demos with a much higher 14. And the amount of Uber charges definitely in Seeds' favor as well, with 15 charges to 9 on the side of Demos, who
just
also
stayed
did
alive
drop 1.
so much.
Yeah, exactly. And the other crucial thing is that Feint were winning every single one of those mid-fights. No matter how sloppy it was, they were always getting the first capture of the round, starting that clock pressure right away. And it looks like we are going to be ready with some interviews here. We have Eames, Gink, and Classy waiting to talk to us.
Hello?
Welcome.
Oh, George.
Hello,
Thank
Gink.
you.
How are you guys feeling? Do you think that split of points is what your teams deserve tonight?
Well, we get more of the points.
Yeah, you do. You get
That's what
4
matters.
points over 2.
Oh, I don't know. We had an unfortunate set of events for our team today, but I think we did well for the situation that happened.
Yeah, did you enjoy your Demo Man debut of the season, Gink?
I mean, I was enjoying it, but on Viaduct, I don't know if the cast noticed. I was on high ping. It means abusing me.
Yeah, you had to take a pause just to reconnect that one time.
Surely he gets off class of the season
It
now.
was still off that. Ugh. Yeah, I must be off class of the season.
Definitely.
Gotta try to get all of them in before the end, like all 9 classes.
Yeah,
Might as
I
well.
will.
Hell yeah.
I this way it is.
Then by default, sure you get off classer of the season just by going through the most classes.
I will.
You definitely get my vote, Gink.
Thank you.
But on a more serious note about the game, were you guys expecting it to be this close? Were you expecting to go to Golden Cap on that first map, Gullywash?
Well, I don't know. I felt like anything could have happened. We could have rolled them, or we could have got rolled. Like I was prepared for everything. Like we had some. We only played like 1 week, 1 set of games this week, so we didn't know what was going to happen. Really, it was a mystery box. You know, Eames could have owned us, or we could have owned him.
Yeah. So where is Pappy today? Because he's in Twitch chat.
He's on the season.
He's in fucking, I don't know, man. He's in Dubai, like drinking some cocktails or something, watching our game. He's laughing that we just lost to Eames or something. Having a right old keck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Eames, from your perspective, how did that game go? Are you happy with 2 points, or were you hoping for a little more?
I mean, to be honest, we were expecting a little bit more. I was confident we were going to win Viaduct, even when we were 2-0 down, to be honest. This kind of slipped away from us in that 5th, I guess, round. I don't know. Gully was kind of weird. I kind of played super shit for most of it. Sorry, too badly for most of it. Had a few funny moments, but the golden count was pretty good, so that was nice. I know, I think on Viaduct, we were pretty confident, but I think Callback just kind of owned us, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what we noticed too. Callback getting an insane amount of kills onto Demos every time he goes in.
Ah, yes, the carry mix.
I'm just looking at the logs. He got 7 kills on Demos. That's pretty much every one of his bombs just worked out.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Pretty much my only comp for the whole game was just kill our soldiers, and I guess we didn't do that. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so in your seasons going forwards, who are you playing against next week, Eames?
The Germans.
Do you expect to be winning that game? That's probably going to be a close one, right?
It's going to be a tough game, but I think we can do it if we, just pull together and play well. Don't get destroyed by some insane merc that we weren't expecting. But yeah, I think we can win that. But I thought we could have won this week. I thought we could have won last week, so that doesn't really mean much anymore, I suppose.
I guess so.
If it ever did.
And what about you two, Gink and Classy? Who are you playing against next week?
Goon Squad.
Yeah, the Nakari team.
You lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask Eames for some intel.
We hopefully will be having Lucas for Nakari for sure. But I don't think we're not gonna have Pappy, right? Class.
No, Pep's gonna be back.
Is he gonna be back?
Yeah, he's gonna be back.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Then I don't know. I mean, I think they got Colquick on their team, and obviously Nakari is a beast. So anything could happen. I mean, they took a map for Elektro. We just lost to them. So maybe there'll be an upset.
Could be anyone's
maybe
game.
they'll be taking some points off you as well. If you're trading points with Aura and Aura trading points with them, who knows?
Yeah, who knows, really?
So, is there anything else you guys would like to talk about? Are there any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yes, of course. Shoutouts to my man Pap for taking a fucking 2-week holiday during the season. I love that shit.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
I hate Peppy.
I hate Pappy as well. I know he's in Twitch chat. He's laughing. He's fucking kicking away. My team, they slept without me.
Eames, anything you'd like to say?
Shout out to my team for... I don't know, we played pretty well, I think. It was just really unlucky. And shout out to Copper.
What?
No!
No!
That's it.
Quick, cut the stream.
Get me out!
That's it.
What are you doing?
Well, thank you very much for the interviews, guys, and thank you for playing such a gorgeous game of TF2 for us all here on the TFTV2 stream. That's going to be it from us tonight. Thank you very much for watching. It's bye from me, and goodbye from Surny.
Goodbye.